like to welcome my colleague Professor S.K. Dhamija. Professor Dhamija is going to speak on industry and community college sustainable partnership. As we all are aware, and when we talk about NSQF or community colleges scheme, this is something which cannot be implemented in isolation. The institutions got to have linkages with the industry. In fact, they got to have memorandum of understanding with industry, and skill knowledge providers, they need to be mobilized. So, without taking much of your time, I request Professor Dhamija to initiate discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Saini, and a very good morning to all of you. इसका माइक वगैरह ठीक है ना? माइक मेरे कहीं नजर नहीं आ रहा, ठीक है? चेक कर लीजिएगा वहाँ में, ठीक है? Okay, so I'll be speaking on the topic of industry and community colleges sustainable partnership. So that is the topic of my lecture come discussion today. The contents of my presentation, there is a brief introduction to the industry issued partnership in very brief. Then we will discuss about the industry issued partnership practices in some countries. Then we will discuss regarding the community colleges in the USA, how they originated in the USA and what is the concept over there. Then the community colleges industry partnership, we will discuss how we can have the interaction with partnership with the industry. And we'll take up a case study also, and then some concluding slides. So first, the introduction. Let me start my session with a very small short story. I think you're able to recognize the person on your screen. So he's Guru Rabindranath Tagore, the first Nobel laureate from this South Asian region. So I was reading somewhere that one day he was visiting a school in Bengal, a school for the tiny tots, for the small children, and he was on inspection over there. So he was taking a round of the school, and then he was walking in the corridor and just seeing the classes being held in the classrooms. And then he saw in one of the classrooms a teacher was trying to explain to the small children, the very small, the tiny dots basically, how a crow looks like, the bird crow looks like. So he was trying to make a picture of the crow on the blackboard and trying to explain with a lot of difficulty how a crow looks like. So then Tagoreji, he entered into the classroom, and then he said to the teacher that, why are you making so much of efforts in first making a picture of the crow and then trying to explain each and every part of crow? So why don't you take them out of the classroom? There are so many crows which are outside the classroom. Just take them out of the classroom. Show them the crows. So when they see those crows, they will never forget how a crow looks like. So similarly, when we talk of the teaching in the classrooms, there are many things which we can teach better in the industry. We teach a lot of concepts in all the disciplines with a lot of difficulty, which can be explained much easy when you go to the industry, when you go to the enterprise basically. So that is the basic, the moral behind the story. That's something which we can teach better in the industry. We can take the students right into the industry rather than teaching, those into the class. This is a statement or a quotation by President Obama. He says that America cannot lead in the 21st century unless we have the best educated, most competitive workforce in the world. So he talks of basically two things. One is the education. He talks about the education, and then he talks about the competitive workforce. So how the workforce will become competitive? Only when they have the knowledge or the expertise which is required in the industry basically. Education is acknowledged as a major vehicle for human empowerment and transformation. You see, when you want to empower the people, basically, they need to be educated. Education plays a very, very important role in empowering a person, in transforming a person. So that is, so education is required. And one of the aims of education is to empower the youth, engage their interest, and provide tools and experiences to improve their socio-economic condition. Technical and vocational education, we are talking of the community concept over here. aims to provide systematic and orderly transmission of the knowledge, skills, and the attitudes. When you talk of the community colleges, when you talk of the technical vocational education, the aim is to provide the knowledge, the skills, and then the attitudes also. Not only the knowledge, but also the skills also, and then the attitude also. To develop a workforce that is able to enhance productivity and sustain competitiveness in the global economy. So we are talking of mainly three things over here. One is the knowledge, one is the attitude, and one is the skills. Knowledge we can impart in the classrooms, but the skills will come when you go to the industry or when you go to the actual world of work. Basically, the things can be learned much better in the actual world of work. Basically, and then the attitude, which is also very important, because you can teach a person the knowledge, you can train a person on the skills, but the attitude should also be imbibed. Because when you go to the industry, when you go to the actual world of work, the people they prefer the person with a better attitude rather than with the more than the skills. In addition, you see, this is KAS. I was working in the Philippines for almost 3 years, and there is a organization known as the TEST over there, Technical Education Skills Government Authority. In TEST, they are training the people on different vocations. Basically, it's a technical vocational institution. Basically, they're training the people on different vocations, and then they're exporting those people out of the country. And the Philippines, they're very good actually. They're very good skilled workers, and then they train the people, and then they export the workforce outside. And these people, they are known as the overseas Filipino workers, and they're sending a lot of remittances back to the Philippines. So almost 40 billion US dollars are being sent back by these people back to the Philippines, which is a major source of income for the Philippines. Now, when you send these people out of the country, even if they have the knowledge, even if they have let us got the skills and then the attitude also, but if they don't have the knowledge, the language basically, you see, if you send a person, let us say, to a country, let us say Thailand, so people, they don't speak in the Filipino over there, they do not speak in English over there, they speak in Thai over there. So they said that not only the knowledge, attitude, and the skills, but also the language plays a very important role. So if you know the local language also, so it's not a KAS, it's a KLAS class. Knowledge, language, attitude, and other skills. So the mainly people on 8 different languages, which are the 8 major languages of the world, which is like English is one of them, French, Spanish, Russian, Chinese. So 8 major languages. So they also play a very, very important role. Because in our part of the country, here we have seen that the students are maybe they're very good, let us say, knowledge-wise, skill-wise, but sometimes not able to communicate. The language is a major barrier sometimes. They are not able to speak either in their own language, whether it's Punjabi or Hindi, or even let us say English is out of reason. But when you talk of the borderless world, when you talk of the global world, where they can go any part of the world and they can work over there, the language they should also know. So language also play very, very important.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
This is, a statement by Dr. Kwesen Ming. She said that if education is the key to the development, Dr. Kwesen Ming is the former Minister of Education in the Philippines. She is an almost 80 to 83 years plus age lady, but very dynamic. She said that if education is the key to the development, then TVET is the master key. TVET is technical and vocational education and training is the master key, which opens the doors to the poverty alleviation and greater equity, justice, and fairness, particularly for the most vulnerable and marginalized groups in our societies. So, if education is the key, then technical vocation is the master key. Because with the technical vocation, you make a person skillful, and when a person is skillful, he can work anywhere on his own also, and then he can earn the money for himself. So, it is the master key which opens the doors to the poverty alleviation. So people, they can remove their poverty, because once they are skilled, they have some skill with them, and then they can either get a job or they can work on their own also to remove their poverty. So if TBT is the master key, then we say that industry-student partnership is the mold of that master key. The thing which makes that key, because when you talk of the technical education, when you talk of the vocational education, when you talk of engineering education, if you are far away from the industry, there's no point of letting people know about this thing, because it is all practice based. It is all which can be implemented in the industry. So there should be a very close partnership with the industry. I was talking of the poverty. Poverty, they say, exists everywhere and it's a big challenge. Like in our country, they say that around 26% people are below the poverty line. India is a very big country. We have more than 1.2 billion population. and 26% of such a big number is again a very big number. In the Philippines, 40% people are below the poverty line. So there's a lot of poverty in this whole of Asia Pacific or South Asian region basically. So how to remove that poverty? The solution is only two things. One is they have technical vocational education and training. Give them the training, the technical skills, vocational skills, and then teach them on the self-employment area basically, so that they can remove their poverty. The United Nations MDG is a Millennium Development Goal, aims to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger with a specific target of making half. So they had set a target that up to 2015 they'll make it half, but I think that's not achieved so far. So the purpose is to make it half. They want to reduce this poverty, and for that they want to promote basically the technical vocational education and training, and then the self-employment of the entrepreneur. So poverty, if you see, has got a vicious cycle. We have a low income. When you have a low income, there is a low savings and low investments. Low savings, low pace of capital formation.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excuse me, sir. You are not audible, sir.
I am not audible.
TTC Jodhpur.
Okay.
मैम प्लीज अभी ऑडिबल है?
Mute your mics. Can you mute your mics? All the centers, mute your mics first. I mean,
No, sir, your sound is not clear.
मैम आप एक बार अपना माइक और स्पीकर को रखिए तो आपके
please keep your mics and speakers away from each other. Please keep your mics and speakers away from each other. Yes, can you hear me now, TTC Jodhpur?
No, sir. No, sir.
But then how do I question to you?
अभी किस बात पे?
Yes, am I audible?
वहीं से रिपीट जो बोल रहे हैं को वहीं से
TTC Jodhpur. Hello.
Hello? Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Now I am audible.
No, sir, your voice is not clear.
मैम एक बार है ना अपना लैपटॉप रीस्टार्ट कर लीजिए और
वापस
माइक
रिस्टार्ट.
हाँ माइक और स्पीकर को यहाँ पर दूर रख के देखिए एक बार बस स्पीकर को माइक के सामने मत रखिए सर मैम स्पीकर का लेवल भी कम करके देख लीजिए एक बार
थोड़ा सा कम करो ना थोड़ा कम करो ना लेवल
हेलो इट इज ऑडिबल नाउ
Yes, TTC Jodhpur, can you hear us now? Restart.
हेलो
Yes, sir.
इट इज ऑडिबल नाउ
Sir, you are audible but not clear.
सर मैम ये आपकी साइड से प्रॉब्लम है एक्चुअली बाकी सेंटर्स को सही
Okay, sir, we will try.
ओके मैम
Okay, but please keep your mics and your speaker little away from each other. Okay, we will continue, I suppose. So I was talking of the vicious cycle of poverty. You know, we have the low income basically. Low income leads to low savings. The savings are less. You cannot have the money with you. Low pace of capital formation. With less of money, you cannot buy the latest machinery. So there is a low productivity, and then again the low income. So this is a vicious cycle of poverty. And if you say a little, if you see a little bigger picture, there's a vicious cycle of poverty, illiteracy, low technology, and rapid population growth. You can see on the screen that there's a poverty. Poverty leads to the less education, low level education, low level of literacy, low level of skills, hurdles in the use of technology. You do not have the latest thing machines, so the technology cannot be used. You are not skillful. In addition, there's a rapid growth of population, inadequate output and food, and then there's a poverty. So this is a vicious circle of the illiteracy, the poverty, the low technology, and the population growth. And we need to break this vicious cycle by promoting the technical vocational education and training, or the concept of community colleges basically, and then in addition the concept of the self-employment or the entrepreneurship. If you train the people on those different vocations, different technical skills, and then they have the the expertise to how to set up their own small scale or self-employment ventures, then they can move their forward. The changing role of technical vocational education. Let us see the two different paradigms. We have an old paradigm, we have a new paradigm. As for the old paradigm, this is supply-driven approach. That means you are training the people and then putting them into the market. So it's a supply-driven. You take the people, you take the students from the market, train them on different vocations, and then just put them into the market. Now, whether the market requires them or not, that's none of your concern. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm says it's a demand-driven approach. As per the demands by the industry, in case they need some people from a specific vocation, only then you can train them. Otherwise, there's no point of training them. So it's a demand-driven. Let the demand be there from the industry side. Then training for employment. You're training a person for getting an employment. Let's talk of learning for the employability. How to learn? Learning to learn basically for being an employable person. That means because nowadays there's no permanency of jobs. But if the person is employable, he can get the employment many times over. In this case, he gets a training, he goes for a specific employment. But in this case, since there's a lot of turnover is there, he can keep on getting the employment from time to time. Then this talk of one-time learning. The student comes, he does a diploma or a degree or a specific, let us say, course, one-time training. This talks of lifelong learning. The person can come inside, he can learn something, he can go out, work over there, again he can come back, attend some more modules, and then again he can go back. So this is lifelong learning. Training and focus on their teacher. So the main focus on the teacher or the trainer, the one who is imparting the knowledge basically. Here we talk about the self-learning and focus on the learner, because every time you cannot be taught, the person should be a self-learner also. So how to be self-learner, how to be learning to learn basically. That is the new concept. Education and training are separated. You train a person, like let us in some of the degree colleges, you train a person in the college which is away from the industry, and then he goes to the industry and then learns over there. So they are separated. But this talks of integrating them. There's a close partnership between the education and the training. So there's an integration, there's a partnership basically. Specialization in one skill. Now we talk of the multi-skilling, because one skill is not enough. A person has got to be multi-skilled so that whenever he has to shift, when he has to diversify, he can always go for the diversification. Now, as for the old paradigm, skill recognition based on the training period and the examination. So you train a person for a specific period, for let us say for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You take an examination at the end of a semester, end of a year, and then you get a degree or diploma basically. The new paradigm says recognition based on the competency and the recognition of prior learning. Whether the person is competent or not, you have to see his competency basically, and then a recognition of his prior learning. The person may be competent, he may not be having a degree or diploma also. You can check his competency as per the NSQ. You can check his competency, and if the person is competent, he can be given a degree or a diploma. So, the recognition of prior learning. The old paradigm says rigid and fixed entry and exit. There's a time of coming, there's a time of exiting. There's a rigid. The new says flexible and multiple entry. The person can, he can enter anytime, he or she can enter anytime, and then he can exit anytime, and then again he can come back, and then he can focus on the formal sector. After getting the training, he goes for a formal sector. Now we're talking about the formal and the informal sector also. Training for the wage employment. Primarily, we need to train we were training the people mainly for getting a job, so it's for wage employment. But now we're talking about training for the wage and the self-employment. The person can either get a job or he can start his own enterprise also. Policy and delivery dominated by the state. It is a state, or it's a state basically which is deciding what has to be offered. Now this says policy and deliveries are separate and they are market driven. As per the requirement of the industry, as per the requirement of the world over, you have to impart the necessary training. Similarly, the governance dominated by the state, and governance is participatory. So we are talking of the partnership basically with the industry. It's a participatory governance. Need for industry institute linkages. I think this we can safely skip. No need to. This I think we can also, why there is the linkages are little less. These are some of the reasons. Like location can be a major reason. Your college is at a place where there is no industry around. So sometimes you set up a college because of your political considerations. So there's nowhere there's an industry there. So that can be a major reason. Faculty vacancy can be a reason. You can see in your polytechnics also, in many colleges also, there's a lot of faculty vacancies there. When the vacancy is already there, the people don't have the time to go for industry. So they're just trying to complete the syllabus only. Lack of industry experience amongst the teachers. The teachers are not that much trained in the industry, so they're a little afraid of going to the industry. Lack of academic and administrative autonomy. So the autonomy is not there. The rules are very, very rigid. So they don't have the flexibility. They don't have the funds. Lack of dynamism at the top management level. Sometimes the top management, the principal or the director is also not that much dynamic. So it all goes down. Inadequate industrial content in the curriculum. Resources and expertise in the institutes which we can share with the industry. So what we can share with them and what they can share with us. So in the institutions we have industrial problem solving through consultancy. The faculties sometimes they are very good. They can offer the consultancy to the industry. So that thing we can offer it to them, because when you talk of the industrial partnership, it has to be a give and take sort of. We have to give something to them and they have to give something back to us. It cannot be one way process basically. So what can we give them basically? Testing facilities in labs and workshops. If we have good facilities, we can offer the testing facilities to them. Continuing education programs for the working professionals. So people who are working in the industry at different levels, we can train. We can have some training programs for different level of people over there. They are supervisors, either managerial or at a lower level also. We can train them. Collaborative R&D projects, we can take it up, because R&D is a little expensive in the industry, but we in the academics we have a little low the same price R&D, so we can collaborate. Collaborate seminars, conferences and workshops. If they want to have some sort of a conference or a seminar, we can always collaborate with them, and the money can be brought down. Availing library and other infrastructures, we have all these facilities in our colleges. Sometimes we have very good facilities over there which can be shared with the industry, and writing training modules for the industry. Now, what resources do they have which we can share it with them? Training of the faculty and staff. We can send the faculty and the staff, the technical staff, for training in the industry. Normally, we are talking of only the training of the students. We never talk of the training of the faculty or of the staff in the industry. So that should also be there. Training of the students in the industry, exposure to the specialist equipments and the machines, which the latest machines, the latest equipments, we can send the people over there. They can be exposed to those areas. Information on the job profiles of technical vocational manpower. What is their profile over there, or what are they doing over there? So that can be sought from them. Industry-based project work can be given to the students. Extension lectures by experts from the industries. Assistance in curriculum design and review. We can have the people from the industry, from the world of work, who can be part of our curriculum, this information process. Sponsorship of R&D and consultancy projects. We can take up some of the consultancy projects and some R&D also from them. Sponsorship or stipend and grant to meritorious students. Assistance in modernization of the labs and the workshop, and participation in the management of the technical vocational institutions. So this is something which they can give it to us. Okay. Now we go to the second part of the presentation, the industry institute interaction practices in different countries. Let me start with the example from the Germany, because Germany is known as the mecca of the technical vocational. When you talk of the technical vocational, German is the mecca. They are the ultimate. Yes, please. I think they had some question.
सर माइक बंद कर दिया
आपने बंद कर दिया?
नहीं सर, उन्होंने कर दिया।
अच्छा, चलें आगे या
हाँ जी
वेट करें?
सर चलिए।
Okay. So let us talk of first is Germany. Germany was the first country to set up the technical universities. We are hearing about the technical universities. So they were first to set up. Yes, please. Any questions that you have?
Do you have any question at Khaitan? Sir, mic on कर लीजिए, mic off है आपका.
If you have the questions, please put on your mics.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
बोलिए.
Hello.
सर अभी माइक आपका बंद हो गया.
माइक ऑन कर लीजिएगा, पहले माइक ऑन कर लीजिएगा.
Hello. Yes, it is audible, sir.
Yes sir. हाँ जी बोलिए.
Sir, one problem from Khaitan Polytechnic, sir. We are not getting the message. Ultimate, what you are saying, sir.
Sir please.
Voice is not audible, sir.
Hello.
Clarity is also not there. Pitch of voice is. थोड़ा please मैसेज को कैसे और एम्फसाइज कर सकते हो करो. सर ये मेरा अकेले का व्यू नहीं है, और पार्टिसिपेंट्स का है.
सर डिस्कनेक्ट भी होता है बार बार। हेलो सर अभी क्लियर है?
हाँ इम्प्रूव हुआ सर।
हाँ जी ठीक है सर।
हाँ
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं। हाँ जी सर अब
हाँ
बोलिए।
जी ठीक है सर।
नहीं सर अपना अपना फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल माइक ऑन कर लीजिए ना लैपटॉप का। सर ऑफ है, ऑन नहीं है अभी आपका।
क्या कहते हैं, कुछ पूछना कुछ उन्होंने?
सर ये माइक ऑन कर लीजिए ना फर्स्ट। आपकी स्क्रीन के टॉप पर होएगा रेड बटन। हाँ जी सर अब पूछिए।
हेलो।
हाँ
ये
जी
सर आप बिल्कुल सही है केतान सर। हेलो प्लीज कंटिन्यू सर आप। हाँ ठीक है सर।
can you hear us?
सबको दे रहा है।
Yes sir, now you can ask your query.
Yes, are you
Amity
getting?
University.
Yes.
Yes sir, ask your query sir.
Okay. Actually, I was going through the presentation given by the professor, and in that he has very clearly explained that how we can create a linkage between academic institutions and industry. But reality is totally different. I am working as a training and placement officer for the last many years. If we used to send any candidate for training in the industry, their response or reaction is totally negligent kind. Are you getting me, sir?
Yes, I am getting your point. You see, my submission is that when you talk of the industry and the institute, there are two partners basically.
Whatever consultancy and all training and everything you have shared with us, that is very good in listening. But on ground realities, practically, it is not happening.
Because on the ground realities,
Government is going.
on the ground realities, the institutes are not offering anything in return to the industries also. You see, when you talk of a relation, there has to be a give and take. You talk of the industry, you talk of the institutions.
But it is not existing. This give and take relationship between industry and educational institution is not existing.
That's what I am saying basically. You are trying to take something from them, but not giving anything in return to them basically. It
What
has to
government
be.
is doing on that part?
Huh?
What government is doing or this particular policy
Let,
or
let us
program?
let us not talk about the government. Let us talk about the institutions only.
Right.
So if you're offering something back to the industry in any form, they will definitely respond back to you. If you're only asking for things from them all the time, they may or may not respond to you all the times.
But majority of time they are not responding back. My candidates, they are going for training and they will run there here and there and they will waste their time for the number of days and hardly they could get assignment for 1 or 2 days.
See, there are actually many problems. One is the industry is very limited and the institutes are very large in number. So they get a request from large number of students from so many institutions which they are not able to absorb. So that is one thing. So in that case, if you can offer something back to them, your institute can be a better institution for them, and then they take your students also for this.
Engineers, they can employ them.
Pardon?
We are offering them well qualified engineers, so they can employ them in return. Otherwise, we don't have anything to offer them.
No, my submission is that I had some slides before also. There's something which we can offer it to them also. You
No, no,
see,
that's fine.
there has
But
to be some give and take.
the
No,
institution only can offer the well qualified, educated engineers.
no, not only
As
well
per
qualified. You see, if they're actually well qualified, they will take them.
nahi,
But you feel that they are the well qualified, but they do not feel that they are the well qualified. That's the problem.
as far as offerings is concerned, industry has got technical expertise in practical way, and from institutes we are providing theoretical as well as lab related training, right? Then
Yeah.
what is required for institute is to send the candidate to industry so that they can get the exact technical training, which industry is reluctant to provide,
No,
not
your point
honestly
your
provide.
point is your point
And
is very well
because of
taken.
because of this only, the consultancy is not happening in India. If you will go to abroad, then consultancy is working very nicely. In India, only in IITs consultancy is possible, otherwise not.
You see, when you talk of the abroad or the other countries, basically, it is just a reverse process. Basically, every technology goes from the college or from the university to the industry. Here it is the other way around. So there, the industry is after the professors of the universities, but here it is the other way around. So my summation is: think of the possible ways and means by which you can give something back to the industry. If you can give something back to the industry in any form, then they will come forward to you.
I want to submit one thing. When industry is coming for the placement, they are very much interested to take my candidates. But
Okay.
when it is turn of training, they are reluctant. If it is a give and take, then we are giving very good candidate, engineers, managers, and all those to the industry. But when it's turn to take, they are reluctant.
So what is your solution? Tell me your solution.
That I am asking to you, na? Because you are talking a lot about whatever you presented. It was a wonderful plate of all, but
Yeah. Okay.
in reality, this is not happening. What you shared
Well,
with me.
friends, with the permission of our speaker, I would like to intervene here.
Policy of government so
Uh,
that these
Please,
industries
please
should be
listen, please
hired
listen.
constantly. Government
Yes.
should find the some policy.
Now,
I'm
who is the government? You are a part of the government basically. Who is the government? You
Basically,
are being
I am
part of the
saying who is
government. Who
the
is the
governing
government?
authority. We are not governing authority. We only
Well,
can
friends,
suggest.
with the permission of the speaker, I am intervening here, and I
The
would.
basic need is to create a linkage between industry and academia, which has not been created.
No,
If I talk to you,
I
if I
suppose
talk,
that's a joint responsibility. Okay, hold on. Please listen to me for a minute
right,
now.
sir.
You raised a question about this thing, what exactly government is doing for promoting training in industry and all. So for that matter, I suppose all of us are aware, government has this thing, apprenticeship system in place wherein lakhs of people, they get training in industry. That is one.
Right.
Secondly, as regard this thing, developing this effective partnership, I think so responsibility lies on us as institutions. You see, you must have heard of this thing. The way Indian Institute of Management, they develop partnership with the industry.
Right.
In IIMs, what they have been doing is the moment a student goes and joins the course, so what do? Is they would assign a small scale unit in the vicinity of the institute to each student. And the student, this program is known as SEMA, Small Industry Managerial Assistance Program. So a person got to work with that small scale unit, improve the profitability, solve their problems on day-to-day basis. And if we can do that, I think so. Having seen one such industry, there would be many other industries coming forward. This is how this would be just one clue of developing linkages with the industry. And once you prove you have given something to the industry, then naturally they would like to come forward. Otherwise, this industry institute interaction, it's a sort of teenagers love story. So industry keeps on talking about they want to, develop linkages with educational institution, they want to develop linkages with industry, but neither of the two comes forward. So it's going to be give and take, as my colleague very rightly pointed out. You give something to industry, industry gives something to you, and wherever young students they contribute something to the problem solving of industry, so there we find industries do come forward. Then we have so many public sector within our country, and these public sector, they go even out of the way helping the institution accommodating summer trainees. Also, I would like to emphasize here, you see, the concept of industry has to be understood in a wider context. When we say industry, it's not only manufacturing industry. It got to include large scale industries, small scale industry, medium scale industries. It got to include the government departments, whether they are railways or state transport or tourism or hospitality industry. So all these entities, they need to be taken within the fold of small, industry, and wherever appropriate, wherever we can provide some exposure to our students, they need to be trained in such like units. So it's going to be a two-way traffic. You do something for the industry, they will also do something for you. That's how it can be done. So please
Actually,
continue.
purpose of
Thank you.
asking this question was
Yes, yes, please continue.
purpose of asking this question was what I am feeling that there is missing something in between industry and academia, and what I suggest that there should be some agency which can work with academia institutions as well as with industry, so that we can bring a very good relationship, and because of that even R&D can be improved. Present day total R&D is with industry, hardly any R&D is with the academia, and this is one of the wastage of resources. Majority of research is coming from industry nowadays, not from academia. It is because of improper linkage between industry and academia.
I think you're just trying to outsource your problem to some external agency, I suppose. You see, there are many ways and means. There are some institutions which are having very good linkages with industries. Like let us say we take the example, let us say BITS Pilani. So in BITS Pilani, they have a scheme known as the practice schools. I think you know the practice schools, practice school 1, practice school 2 basically. And in the BITS Pilani, when they hire the faculty, some of the faculty members, they are stationed in the industry themselves. So they hire a person, there's a teacher or a faculty is being hired, and he or she is based in the industry itself. So the salary comes from the institution, but she's working in the industry. And he or she can give the service to the industry over there also, and then he can also coordinate the links with the BITS planning also. So there are many ways and means. We have a polytechnic in Chandigarh known as Industries Training Center, in which they have created the industry-like facilities within the institution only. So there are actually many ways and means. So there should be a common platform where you can discuss with the industry people. So my submission is, go to the industry you want to go, just go to them, talk to the people over there, try to understand their problem, and they will try to understand your problem. There should be common sharing of the ideas basically on a common platform, and then some way can be found out. Can be found out. So it is we people who have to solve this problem, not any external agency, I suppose. So there has to be an initiative from our side, because it's our problem basically, not the industry. So this is our primary problem basically. Is that okay?
Okay.
Any more questions?
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I again repeat, please go for the give and take. I was talking to one of the principals of a polytechnic, just on the lighter side, He said, "Sir, we have a perfect give and take." I said, "How?" He said that they keep on giving, so we keep on taking from them, So, so not that type of give and take. There has to be something.
Balancing act.
Okay. Anyway, let me go through my presentation. Some of your questions may be answered in the process also. Okay. So I was talking of the German example. In the Germany, they had set up this Technische Hochschule way back in the 19th century, which was giving success to the industry. So it was institution or the university which was giving success to the industry. And they had set up this technical universities way back in 1960s, which are actually technical universities, not like the technical universities of our country, which are more of a clerical, sort of university. So these universities, they were attracting a lot of investments they were getting the investment from the industries. They were raising industrial performance. They were giving a technological push to the industry. So new technology was coming out, competent manpower they were coming out, and new technology for the industries they were giving. So it's just the reverse in the other countries. the technology is being generated in the institutions or in the industry or in the universities, and then from there it goes to the industry. So they have this innovation and technology transfer, and now they have the technology relay centers in whole of the Europe. They have set up almost more than 100 technology relay centers in which they keep on relaying the technology. And you see the universities are like at the center. So there's a link between the university, between the research laboratories, and between the chambers of commerce and industries. So there's a perfect liaison with all the three major partners, and that is why they are more successful as compared to people. They have got a system known as the dual system. In the German, they have this dual system in which the training is both at the institutions as well as in the industry. It's a dual system. It's a combined sort of. So you can see on this screen, they have this, the training is being organized by the private sector and by the public sector. It's by both of them. Public is the education part. The skill part is by the private sector. Conducted in the companies as well as in the part-time vocational schools. So it's said both ways, both at the school or the college or the university as well as at the industry also. Carried out as training at the workplace and classroom tuition on the basis of the training contract. As a contract they are signing basically, and as a part of the contract they are having a training, and regulated by the federal government and states, supervised by the chambers and school supervision bodies. So the result is the people are professionally and personally competent. There's a methodological competence, occupational competence. So that is the benefit of this dual system basically. We can think of this dual system. In fact, in Baddi is very close from here in Baddi in Himachal Pradesh. There's a Baddi University of Emerging Science and Technology. So they're offering a degree program, I think mechanical engineering, in which the students of the mechanical engineering are spending 2 days in the university or in the Baddi University and the 4 days in the industry. So it is for all the weeks throughout the 4 years. You see, when a student attends only for 2 days in the college, spends the 4 days in the university, or it can be 3 and 3 also. So this I mean, all the problem is solved out over there. So that's a very good example of the dual system basically, training at both the places basically. So these are the benefits of the dual training system. They have a legal commitment vocational training act. So they have to the institutes have to sign that act. There's a commitment by the both industry as well as by the institution, and the benefits are you're getting next generation of skilled workers, lower recruitment cost for the industries, influence on the content. The industry can always influence the content of the training program, and these are the benefits of having the dual system basically. Okay. Now let us talk of the USA. Today, all the American universities have become research universities. Teaching and research in these universities are linked to the enterprises. So, in surrounding the university, there are a lot of industries, lot of research. So they are primarily, giving services to the industries. So science parks, incubators, and innovation centers are very popular and successful schemes jointly implemented by the industry, university, and government in the USA. Creation of new technology, new products, and new processes is facilitated, leading to the employment of and income generation, and the proportion of sick industries is reduced. So they are working in close liaising with the industry basically. So there's an industry, there's a university, there's a government. So there's a combination of all the three partners basically, resulting in the creation of the incubators, innovation centers, and the new technology-based firms. And then this new technology-based firms, they are giving new processes, new technologies, new products, and generating a lot of employment, income generation, and overseas. Some of the private universities have set up their own. Some of the industries, they have set up their own private universities. Like IBM has their own university, Motorola has their own university. So they have set up those corporate universities in which they are building world-class employees who are creating world-class companies. And even the MIT have set up a local for the local entrepreneurs. They have set up a foundation over there. Even some of the SMEs groups, they are running those common learning centers who are building the intellectual capital over there. So they have this local partnerships between the employers, between the institutions, between the industry, and between the professional bodies, leading to your work-related activities and the work. You get the work experience, you get the industry knowledge, you get on-the-job training, you get workplace mentoring, positive work attitude. So everything is being imparted to the students over there. In Thailand, they have this sector-based SME training and partnership. In Thailand, enterprises face increasing pressure from the leading investors to improve performance and quality, particularly among the car manufacturers. So the cars which are being manufactured in the Thailand, so they wanted to improve the quality of the cars over there. So a government institution, specializing in technology transfer and training, known as MIDI, the Metal Industries Government Institutions, helps the small firms in metalworking and associated sectors. So they are assisting the industry, in metalworking and training the people over there. So MIDI has helped to establish sectoral entrepreneurial associations such as the Thai Foundry Society, which can transmit to the MIDI and other institutions their needs. So it is like an intermediate basically, which between the institution and between the industry. In Korea, the group of enterprises belonging to a particular industrial sector and geographically concentrated in an area could form industry clusters. So they have this concept of clusters basically. Clusters, very well that in a specific area, almost similar like of using work. So they're setting up a cluster, say 100, 150 letters, small units, which are doing almost the same thing over there. So in Korea, the Kumi Electronic Industry Complex is composed of around 150 electronic-related firms, mostly the SMEs, together with supporting firms and agents. It is served by specialized education institutions. So there's a cluster of a specific area, and then there are certain institutions which are providing the manpower to those clusters basically. So there's a close liaison, there's a close link. So these institutions have been set up specially for those clusters only.
So what do we suggest from this?
Basically, it has to be as per the demand by the industry. Like let us say in Ambala, there is a scientific cluster is there. There are more than I think 300 to 400 very small units which are making electronics related sort of items, which are being sold in the institution. So there could be a small institution in Ambala which can train the students who can be absorbed in those clusters basically.
But this is what I think the person who was saying. Okay, like for instance, there are certain maybe means the government will, we do not have a control over the policy or the starting of the courses. Like for instance, if the government comes out with the idea, okay, we have to set up a engineering college in Ambala, they may not think that okay, because it is a industry involving electronics or electrical gadgets or these kind of things. So maybe more of these courses can be held there. Secondly, sir, let us say if there is a college which is having more number of students, those students may not be only from that area. They may come from across the country, and they may want to go back to their own institution. So it is not necessary that even if the industry cluster is there, all the students who have been trained from the colleges over there, they may like to be absorbed in those industries.
Yeah, I think that is that's okay, I suppose, but it all depends, it all depends,
Because there are certain factors which we do not have any control over. That the government at their level or maybe the private institutes can think of that.
We can send up the suggestions to the government, because government we cannot hold their hand and do something to them. But whatever is possible at our end, these are just examples basically, and we can learn from this example basically, and whatever we can do in our circumstances as per our listening powers, we can try to do the resolution.
We do have industry clusters. I think I can understand.
Many areas.
But I don't think I have never heard of any course which is related to the sugar industry.
It can be done because when you have a very big cluster, and those clusters are not only in Lambara, there are different places also, If you can train a person on specific those of the specific, let us say, clusters, so they can work either in Lambara or they can go to the different clusters where they are. But we never thought of this basically. It's not always, demand driven. We are basically supply driven. Set up a college, let us in Ambala, which are offering, let us civil engineering. They want basically electronics people, you are setting up, let us civil engineering over there. So that's the problem basically. It's not which is demand driven. There has to be demand driven things. So there has to be a more close liaison with the industry, with the federations, with the chambers basically. And as for their requirements, we can set up, the necessary, or we can always alter also. Like in Ambala, we have let's say 3 for polytechnics, but the same courses are being run throughout all those years. They were never changing the intake, never changing the same courses. Everything going the same. So there's no flexibility to change the courses also.
Flexibility से कई areas में तो बहुत मुश्किल भी हो जाता होगा to set up workshops and labs and all. So we cannot have that kind of flexibility.
If you have a good partnership, then those things can be set up in the process also. You're talking of the labs, the workshops basically. If this is a situation, they can have the classroom facility over there. For the training on the, they can go to those where the process is already there. So there has to be a partnership basically. Something can be taught at this institution, something can be taught skill wise at the process also. Our country has, very unique actually problems. The country is very big. You talk of the engineering colleges, you talk of the polytechnics, you talk of the IT. They are so huge in number. Industry is very. I mean, if you talk of, let us say, Punjab, where is industry in Punjab? You talk of Haryana, where is industry in Haryana? They come, but they are always thrown out of the states because of political consideration. So what can you do? I mean, now if you see the growth of the southern, I mean, like we say that America is 50 years ahead of us. The south is ahead of the north by 10 years. Yes. There's no industry over here. We had industry in Punjab, they were all thrown out. We had industry in Haryana, they were all thrown out. No industry in UP, Bihar. The entire area is there's no industry there, except for some Gurgaon or some, let's say, Noida. There's no industry over here.
But even government all
I mean,
they
little
don't
bit.
have industry.
Yeah.
Most of them, they are having their corporate
Corporate
offices
office,
there.
yeah, that's right. So the things are very complex, in our country. But I mean, whatever best we can do at our end, let us try to do those things. And we can always give our suggestions to the people. Nobody never recommending you. And wherever you get a platform, wherever you get a chance, we can convey the message to them. Understand, sir?
See, I was in Australia for some time. So there we had seen the way they go on developing skill among people, And what they were doing is, like, there was a course on hospitality or cooking, baking and all. So what they were doing, they were teaching the students in their own institution for a few months. And of course, they had all arrangement for good canteen, cooking and all that infrastructure was there. But having taught them theory, then the student was to necessarily spend 1.5 years in a restaurant. We visited even that restaurant where the fellow was employed, and that was sort of beneficial both for the issue, for the candidate as well. So the student gets some stipend. The institute or the organization providing skill training, they get cheap labor at almost 1/3 the prevailing wage rate. So they get a young person at 1/3 the prevailing wage rate, and this fellow puts in exactly 8 hours of work every day. So having picked up that skill for about 1.5 years, so thereafter there's no question of not getting job. Same thing I had seen in the housing sector, like people were being prepared for plumbing job or construction of houses. So there again, one has to actually construct a house and then prove this thing. Okay, I have developed this skill.
तो हमारे यहाँ सर ऐसा चल ही नहीं रहा है
हमारे यहाँ थोड़ा
more of theory rather than
अभी मैं सिंगापुर गया था तो we went to one IT, this one actually ITE, Institute of Technical Education. We had a delegation over there, and it was such a huge, sort of a complex. We thought it is something like an IIT or some top college, engineering college, basically. But then we realized, after almost half a day later, it was an ITI basically. It's an ITI, and it is such a huge complex. They have the food courts and the shopping malls and the escalators, and they have more than 101 trades. And like, let us say, aeronautical, they have. We went to aeronautical, the department. It was a separate building was there. They had the actual plane which was standing over there. They said we have purchased that plane because they wanted to give the training, hands-on training on the plane. Actually they had purchased. So they have created the industry right in the institute itself. And the passers of the ITIs, that IT or the ITI basically from the Singapore, they spent 2 years over there after the 10th, and they're getting a salary of almost around 1,800 Singapore dollars every month. We went to their polytechnic. It was on a much bigger scale. This ITI, I had the joint secretary also with me. He said that it is better than our IITs. The joint secretary said it's better than our IITs. This is statement to the joint secretary. We went to a polytechnic. It was even much bigger scale. So, if you compare our country with those things, we have.
we don't provide the infrastructure as well.
And you
Like
know,
for instance, sir, आपने बोला है
it's a
technical
quantitative
institutes का,
expansion. It's a lot of quantitative expansion.
They are asked to work. For
No,
example,
there are some sectors in
in
which
all
we
our
can
engineering
provide.
colleges, we have carpentry workshop, maybe we are having a metal workshop, all these things, kind of thing. Most of the colleges they have. But carpentry workshop, even if a small nail has to be fixed, कोई नहीं आके करेगा. किसी बच्चे से
करते भी नहीं है अभी
और
जो
करवाते भी नहीं
प्राइवेट
है सर. टीचर करने को मना नहीं
जो
करते
प्राइवेट
हैं,
इंजीनियरिंग
पर
कॉलेजेस
टीचर्स करवाते भी नहीं है. उनको लगता है कि हमें सुपरवाइज करना पड़ेगा इसको.
एक्चुअली जो प्राइवेट इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस हैं हम जाते रहते हैं वहाँ पर एक बड़ी सारी वर्कशॉप है, उसी के अंदर ही छोटा सा पोर्शन कारपेंट्री का है, छोटा सा पोर्शन वेल्डिंग का है, छोटा सा पोर्शन अलग अलग फाउंड्री का है. वो सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए तो ठीक है कि कारपेंट्री है, लेकिन वो काम करने के लिए कारपेंट्री की उतनी जगह नहीं है. तो जब बच्चा काम ही नहीं करेगा
हमने सोचना कि क्या ना क्या करेंगे तो होगा.
In some of the sectors, it's possible. Take for example, this food and hospitality sector.
I think Sitco is
There
also
are
doing
lakhs and lakhs of restaurants available in the country. But then there the problem is our students themselves, they are not
willing to.
they are not willing to undergo that rigorous training.
नहीं. उसमें एक तो
Same
बच्चे
is true of healthcare sector. See, when it comes to preparing nurses, why is it Indian nurses are respected abroad? Probably they get much better training in India because all hospitals are full of patients
yes,
and
yes.
they have to attend to them. They get real hand-on
That's right,
experience.
that's right.
I saw the same thing in Australia. In Australia, they were making the nurses practice on dummies.
Oh, अच्छा.
अब एक जो डमी लटाया हुआ है, आप उसका ब्लड प्रेशर क्या नापेगा?
क्या नापेंगे?
So rather I intervened and I told them, forget about the dummy, you take my GP and you conduct some tests on me. Then I will appreciate your effort. Otherwise, dummies के ऊपर क्या practice?
Right.
So there are some opportunities in India where we can provide meaningful training, be it your hospitality sector or healthcare sector or maybe even construction sector.
सिटको ने तो शायद सर किया हुआ है इनका कुछ. मैंने एक बार कहीं नेट पे पढ़ा.
एक्चुअली मेन है कि जो हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं ना, स्टूडेंट्स भी विलिंग नहीं हैं, टीचर्स भी प्रॉपर्ली, हम भी टीचर हैं, इसमें हम किसी को टीचर प्रॉपर्ली पढ़ाते नहीं हैं, तो बच्चों को इतनी नॉलेज होती नहीं है. दे लैक सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस, दे आर नॉट एबल टू कम्युनिकेट आल्सो. तो वो जाने में भी घबराते हैं और जाना चाहते नहीं हैं. कोई सुपरवाइजर को करने वाला भी होता नहीं है. गए हैं नहीं गए हैं, नोबडी इज बॉदर, क्योंकि इतने सारे बच्चे हैं और टीचर कितने हैंडफुल ऑफ टीचर्स हैं, तो टीचर्स भी बेचारे क्या करें. तो यहाँ तो जो है ना बिल्कुल ही वो है कि जो
असली प्रॉब्लम है जो है, the real problem is the sheer size of the
बस
number. Now when you have almost say 17-18 lakh seats available in engineering and it's a 4-year course, multiplied by 4, you have almost 60-65 lakh students. Then you have 3-year diploma program. And with an intake of 5 lakh, you have another 50 lakh. And ITI being 2 years course, another maybe 10 to 20 lakh over there, and 40,000 colleges in the country. Now, country is not really equipped to create adequate training places for such number. It's a practical problem.
तो अंदर ही क्रिएट करनी पड़ेगी, जहाँ अंदर ही क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा. जैसे मैं यहाँ जैसे हमारे इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग सेंटर है, अंदर ही उन्होंने क्रिएट कर रखी है सारी जो है फैसिलिटीज. तो जहाँ जहाँ पॉसिबल है अंदर ही क्रिएट करनी पड़ेगी. जैसे हमारा कंप्यूटर साइंस में तो अंदर ही सारा कुछ क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. इसमें क्या IT है, कंप्यूटर साइंसिस है. जैसे आप हॉस्पिटैलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पर उन्होंने एक रेस्टोरेंट, उन्होंने सिंगापुर की वहाँ एक रेस्टोरेंट बना रखा था. वही बच्चे खाना बनाते हैं, वही बच्चे खाने को भेजते भी हैं, वो सर्व भी वही करते हैं. they get the people from the outside, जो actual client हैं, उनको भेजते हैं, वो पैसा भी वहाँ से कमाते हैं.
So you see this PSG model, PSG College of Engineering and Technology near Coimbatore. You go over there and you find companies on the campus of the institute itself, and they are employing almost 300 to 400 people. Now people are getting hands-on experience. They are actually developing software, earning money, and meeting requirement of clients from India and abroad. तो उस तरह की ट्रेनिंग एटलीस्ट कुछ एरियाज में तो हो सकती है.
चलिए आगे चलते हैं थोड़ा सा. लेट अस टॉक ऑफ द कम्युनिटी कॉलेजेस.
हम फिर जो एग्जांपल देते हैं अमेरिका में देंगे, हम इधर की देंगे.
नहीं, वहाँ से हम सीख सकते हैं ना कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं और यहाँ हमारे क्या पॉसिबल है प्रैक्टिकली करना. सीख तो सकते हैं हम. सो कम्युनिटी कॉलेजेस इन USA, they began 110 years ago at Joliet Junior College to prepare students to enter into the senior institutions after the first 2 years of study. ये थोड़ी सी historical background है. I think I can skip some of them. They are the largest and fastest growing sector of the higher education in the United States right now, the community colleges. They ensure that the people of all socioeconomic backgrounds, from new immigrants to the laid-off workers, to those who have the advanced degrees, have access to the education and the services. So anybody can come to those community colleges, whether they are the workers or whether they are the students, whether they are the advanced, they can come back. And they play significant role in developing students for the workforce and are of equal value to the adults as they are to the traditional age students. They offer first 2 years of university education with transfer of opportunities. इनका तो मैं टेबल थोड़ा सा दिखा देता हूँ, ये देखिए. After the high school, 10th के जो बाद है, so they have these two options. One is the Associate of Arts. It's a 2 years this is the program, Associate of Arts, and then the vocational training technical institutions basically. तो 2 साल का है ये जो आपका जो कम्युनिटी कॉलेज है, उसके बाद आप कैन गो टू दी फर्दर यूनिवर्सिटीज. इनकी accreditation के बारे में लिखा हुआ है. There's an external quality review is carried out by private non-profit agencies in 6 different regions of the United States. और जो accrediting जो एजेंसीज हैं वो डिग्रीज के लिए भी वही हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए भी वही हैं, डिप्लोमा के लिए भी वही हैं और कम्युनिटी कॉलेज के लिए भी सेम accreditation एजेंसीज. So total there are around 1195, close to 1200 regionally accredited US community colleges. You can see them like those dots on the USA map, more on the eastern side, and around 11.5 million students who are being who are teaching, who are being taught in the community colleges. 46% of all the post-secondary students in the United States began at community colleges. Almost 50% of the thing they first go to the community college, then they go to the higher education. They have almost 87,000 international students, and these are the alumni of the community colleges. All the big shots, they are the alumni of the community colleges. And the types of US community colleges, publicly funded, they have 987 out of 1195. Independent institutions, which are like private, 11177, and then tribal is 31. This is just a breakup.
I don't understand how community colleges are different from the normal colleges and universities.
They are mainly focusing on this on the skills basically. Like we have this ITs over here. So they are offering more of the skill proportion basically. The tech vocational skills, technical vocational skills basically, community colleges. They are assisting the industry. They are assisting the community also. So they are more of a hands-on training sort of this colleges. Rather than conventional, teaching, conventional.
They also have their engineering colleges and all.
That is later on. That's later on. That's later on.
They are bridging the gap between the secondary and the engineering colleges.
You see, after the 10th, they have two streams. One is the education, which is the classroom stream. The second is the technical vocational stream, basically. So these are the community colleges. And then from there they can go to the higher degrees, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and then they can go to the Masters and they can go to engineering colleges.
We'll have a separate session on community college.
So they're accessible, affordable, adaptable. Credits transfer to the university. You can go to university also to doing your like here it is not possible. No, if you do an ITI, it's not possible to go to university. If you go to do a polytechnic, you cannot go to the university. But there they have all these facilities. So the community college plus 2 years of university, you can get a bachelor's degree. So 2 years community, 2 years university, and then you can get a bachelor's degree. The funding sources of the community colleges in USA, so you can state around 38% is the state funding, 17% tuition and fees, local funds, federal funds, and others. This is just the funding sources. The classes are taught by the faculty with the advanced degree as well as by the instructors experienced in the field. So it is by both of them, both the theoretical portion as well as the practical, by the concerned instructors. Small classes, 25 to 30 students, they provide more opportunity for a dialogue. There is a more, close interaction. They play an important role in the area in which they serve because they are serving the community also. the community nearby. They act as an economic catalyst by providing employers with an educated and a trained workforce. They serve all members in the community who can benefit from the services. The colleges work with the industry to determine what types of learning and skills students need to enter the workforce. So what the skills they need to get. So the industry and the college they decide amongst themselves. The students are educated and trained for the jobs available in the community, and hands-on, progressive, customized training and learning opportunities are provided. Some of the examples of this community colleges like architectural design, computer technology, culinary arts, digital technology, digital, some of the courses basically. The US community colleges are at the forefront of the healthcare sector. 59% of the new nurses and other healthcare workers are educated at the community colleges. So, Homeland Security, 80% of the firefighters, law enforcement officers are credentialed at the community colleges. Teachers preparation, nearly 50% of all the teachers receive at least part of the education at the community colleges. Environmental sustainability, the community colleges are energy efficient and provide training for renewable energy workforce. So they are at the forefront of these four major sectors. The community college graduates generally earn 20 to 30% more than the people with the only high school diplomas. This is the President Obama's community college initiative. It's a $12 billion program designed to improve the student learning, track progress, and train the workers. The goal is to produce an additional 5 million community college graduates by 2020. This is the high growth of the jobs requiring an associate degree or a community college degree. A little old data, but the growth is very high. It's around 32% growth is there. A prominent profile in the today's workforce. So you see, the community college or the associate degrees, they are much more prominent as compared to the higher degrees, because in the USA, the Americans, they do not go for the higher education. They have only this basic education like the community colleges or diploma or this, and then they progress from there only. Okay, I think employees' viewpoint, the US community colleges are increasingly seen as a model to train a more skilled workforce. 95% of the businesses and organizations that employ the community college graduates commend their valuable work education and training. The people who are already working, they can also come back and get the training in the community colleges. So many workers, they seek to improve the skills or study for the new careers. So they can always come back to the community college. They can some new, let us say, nursing or IT. They can learn some new this in trade. The colleges provide the job such opportunities also, and also courses for the fun or for the self-employment also, like cooking, public speaking. So you can learn all this in the community colleges. The community colleges also provide soft skills, which is again very important, things like teamwork, collaboration, innovations. So the soft skills are very important. So they also provide training on the soft skills also. US community colleges are increasingly seen as a model to train a more skilled workforce. A growing belief among the community college officials that they must effectively prepare students to work in a borderless world. The community colleges meet needs through customized training of the workers from specific employers and specifically model their programs to suit local population. So it can be as per the requirement. It can be customized also as per the need of any major. There's a big industry over there, so they want some training. So you can customize training for the people as per the requirement of that big industry also. So supported
How are
by
they different from a polytechnic? So
polytechnics are at a diploma.
They just have a different name for the polytechnics.
No, they are more like the ITIs. Polytechnics at the higher level. They are more like the ITIs.
10th के बाद after schooling, after 10th, they are going to the community.
It's a 2 years program. It's not a 3 years. It's a 2 years program basically. It's more of like an ITI. Like in Singapore, they have this ITE after the 10th. It's again a 2 years program. That's also like a community college basically. It's a 2 years program. They're not getting a diploma. They're getting only certificate on, not a diploma.
Community college models, they vary from country to country. So American model may not be necessarily applicable to community college. So So we have evolved our own model for that. We'll have discussion in the club.
This is regarding the collaboration with the industry. I think I can take up. We have a case study. Yes, we can take up a case study. Yes. This is a case study of a metropolitan college. UPS is a very big sort of industry collaboration. One hallmark of a community college industry partnership is the recognition of an economic challenge that demands attention. The Metropolitan College program in Louisville, Kentucky is a particularly good example of what can result from an individual employer's need that has broad economic implications. Let us just see it over here. UPS is the largest employer in the state of Kentucky. As such, the state has an interest in keeping the UPS from moving its headquarters out of the state. It also has an interest in educating a larger portion of its population. So they wanted to retain this UPS within the state only and not letting them go out. In 1996, UPS identified workforce development needs that gave Kentucky an opportunity to meet both of these interests. UPSC was having a trouble staffing its part-time, next day air-night shift, and without a drastic change in its approach to the recruitment, the company would have to move itself from the Louisville. So they wanted some sort of specific staff, which they were not getting actually. So faced with the prospect of losing the UPS to another state, the Kentucky state stepped in to help craft a plan to alleviate the UPS concern. The state's innovative solution was to provide an educational benefits to the workers in the next day air operation. The result of this collaboration is Metropolitan College, a partnership amongst the UPS and the Jefferson Community and Technical College and the University of Louisville. So they had a new college which was set up over there. UPS provides part-time employment for the students in this program. So the students which are studying over there, they get a part-time employment in that industry UPS. It also pays half the cost of the tuition and reimbursement for the textbooks. The state and the local governments pay the other half of the tuition and provide the students with the access to the junior colleges and University of Louisville. The students who participate in the Metropolitan College work part-time on the next day, so they're working part-time also, but they're getting full-time benefits. Working part-time but getting full-time benefits. These student employees receive deferred tuition for any major and bonuses, so they're getting the tuition also. The students are responsible to pay fee, including parking anyway. They must participate in the workforce preparation activities, so it is basically joint venture. The venture by the state government, the venture by the industry, the big industry basically, to provide the workforce for the industry basically. Extremely successful. Two additional Kentucky companies have joined the Metropolitan College program, and Chicago adopted its own version of the Metropolitan College model. Why it is working? This is strong, sustained financial commitment from both the UPS and from the state of Kentucky. So finances in our country, finance is a major problem. From where the funding will be there? The state will not give any funding, and then the industry. That's a major problem. Academic and social support components built into its model. The Metropolitan College ensures that students receive guidance and career building skills in addition to the academic preparation. The financial support for students is also a significant component of the Metropolitan College model. UPS provides part-time employment with full-time benefits. The learn and earn nature gives both a financial incentive to continue and the financial support that the students need. So I think that is all. This is just some of the concluding slides. Synergy from the networking. I think you might have seen the slides earlier also. I'm not very sure, but I can just go through very quickly. This is the concept of networking, the synergy basically. Synergy. I think we know what is a synergy. So when you see the geese, वो जो geese ऊपर आप देखते हैं ना, वो V formation में जाते हैं, उसके बारे में ही है. Heading south for the winter, flying in a V formation. Have you thought what science they have discovered as to why they fly that way? V में ही क्यों जाते हैं? आपने कभी इसके बारे में शायद सोचने की कोशिश की होगी आपने? As each bird flaps its wing, it creates an uplift for the bird immediately following. So by flying in a V formation, the whole flock adds at least 71% greater flying range than if each bird flew on its own. So message is that people who share a common direction and a sense of community, जैसे हमारे पे industry है, institutes हैं, so they have a common sense of this thing, direction. They can get where they are going more quickly and more easily because they are traveling on the thrust of one another. अभी इंडस्ट्री इंस्टीट्यूट को नहीं बॉदर करते, इंस्टीट्यूट इंडस्ट्री की बॉदर नहीं करते हैं, आपस में दोनों का आपस में फायदा है. So there has to be a close, win-win sort of partnership. When a goose falls out of formation, it suddenly feels the drag and resistance of trying to go it alone and quickly gets back into the formation to take advantage of the lifting power of the ball in front. When the head goose, the one at the very start, the one who is leading, gets tired, it rotates back, it comes back, and then they keep on rotating. It is sensible to do demanding jobs and turns. Geese honk from behind to encourage those up front to keep up their speed. So what messages do we give when we honk from behind if we have the sense of a goose who will stand by each other? So I think that is all. Some of the statements by some of the prominent people. Bill Gates has said that community colleges have always been driven by what is most relevant to the employment market. So what is required by the employment market? So that thing they are providing. The US President says that the community colleges are a vital component of our higher education system, serving almost 50% of the undergraduate students in the United States, and 46% basically. Jill Layden, the wife of US President Mr. Layden, she says she's a teacher in a community college. The wife of the US Vice President, she's a teacher in a community college. She says that I have witnessed firsthand the power of a community college lives, and I think that the smaller classes sizes, the nurturing environment, and the personal contact make a difference in supporting students. In my classes, I get to know my students well, and I'm able to partner with each of them to help them succeed. The batch of 25 to 30, very small size. So I think that is what. Okay, thank you so much. And any questions? We can take some questions from the centers also. Yes, please, we can take some questions. We had a lot of discussion also at the Chandigarh center, but we can take some questions from the centers also, outstation centers.
If there have any question from any center, first we will go to Amity University.
Okay, we take one by one. We go to the Amity first. Please, you can put on your mic and ask the question.
Sir, no sir. Sir, thank you.
No questions. Okay, thank you so much. We go to the TTC Jodhpur. TTC Jodhpur. तो पहले चाय पी रहे हैं.
सर पीने के बाद.
Yes, any question?
TTC Jodhpur. Yes, sir. I have a question from you.
Yes.
Can you listen to me?
I can.
Sir, I want to ask one thing. You have given a detailed account of the colleges in America and Germany and other countries. Don't you think when we adopt these institutions in our country, our cultural and social background also play a significant role? We just can't copy these model institutions in our country because their culture and social background is entirely different from our. So it is not that easy just to adopt all that you have mentioned in your lecture.
Yes, okay. Now my submission is that you can see the best practice of those countries, and then you can try to implement whatever is possible in our country. So not in toto, but whatever is possible to implement in our country, we can implement those practices over here. But at least we should know what is happening over there, so that we can think of appropriating those things over here.
Motivation. Implement in our country, take into account our background. What we do that is implemented well in our country. What is there when we borrow technology and system from other countries? It is not successfully implemented in our country because of our cultural and social background. So what amendments you suggest that it is effectively implemented in our country?
You see, my comment is that we always keep on sermonizing our cultural and all those things all the time, you know. So either you develop a technology. If you cannot develop a technology, we have to import the technology. That's right, very clear. You know. So whatever best they are offering, we can see those practices over there, and we can implement some of them over here. As per our context, I think that there's no harm, I suppose. So I'm not saying you have to copy them in toto 100%, but whatever best we can copy over here, or how we can appropriate as per our circumstances, we can do that over here. Okay, another question from TTC Jodhpur.
No, sir.
We can go to Ajmer. Can we go to Ajmer, please?
Any question from Ajmer Center?
Any questions from Ajmer, please? Okay, we go to the Asi Khaitan. Asi Khaitan, yes, any questions from Asi Khaitan?
Hello.
Yeah, we can.
Hello. Sir, you have given the guidelines regarding the NSQF and as well as the community colleges in developing and developed countries. So, which particular concept we should adopt? First, the developing countries concept or developed countries concept in our political systems?
We have to see the concepts, the developing concept, and whatever we can take it from them and have our own thing concept basically. You create your own concept.
Thank you, sir.
My last comments is that when you talk of the industry, you should partnership. My request to all the faculty members: please do not stay in your campuses. Just go out of your campuses, leave your cozy offices, go to the industry, talk to the people over there. You will have a lot of frustration going to the industry. Sometimes they may listen to you, sometimes they may not listen to you. But then keep on going to them, keep on talking to them, have a common platform, and then the things will start following basically. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all of you at Different Center, I would like to thank Professor S.K. Dhamija for engaging this very interesting session.